Orientation is one of those things that everyone needs but no one likes. Like shots. They're uncomfortable and seem to last forever, but in the long run, it alleviates anxiety. I have officially been oriented. Orientation was an all-day affair, which was different than my undergrad because it was its own. Undergrad had a university orientation, but my film school here has an orientation within orientation for film school. And that's because of the intensity of the program. It's kind of like its own little world. Thus, all the undergrads and graduate students gathered in a dark soundstage to hear tales of what the next few years would bring. We got the usual spiels, half to put the fear of God in you, half the fact that we love you and we want you to become the next Steven Spielberg, and the whipped cream on top, this is the best school ever. Which is kind of obvious because that's why we decided to go to this school, because we thought it was the best school for us. They told us things like, 10 people wanted to be in the seat that you're sitting in, which is kind of humbling and makes me feel a little bit bad, but also super cool, but also a little bit bad. You will become a family over the next 2 years. You will learn to hate that family because you will spend every waking moment together, and you will have to learn how to work with people that you don't like. Don't sleep around because it causes drama. Always wear closed-toed shoes to school because safety around equipment. Our school has a 6-to-1 faculty to student ratio, which means you will be watched all the time, and you will work hard, etc. The other awkwardness came in from all the students wanting to know everything about each other in the course of 8 hours. I will forget these things by tomorrow, people. We have 2 years to learn this. The main question everyone asked was, what are you going to specialize in? Which we don't have to declare for another year. And I started answering, I don't know yet. I'll decide when I have to decide. Because A, I don't really want to start that competitive thing going on where it's like, well, I'm gonna be a director. Oh, you're going to be a director? And secondly, I don't know enough about this stuff to really decide for sure what I want to do. I have a general idea of what my skill sets are and what I really like to do, but the reason I came to film school was to learn more about everything, and that's what I'm gonna do. So far, the faculty has seemed incredibly knowledgeable, approachable, and ready to drive us into the ground come Monday. Oh wait, that's today. I'd say those are the most important things to look for when you're looking for a school or even a job, is just people who are over you, who are so passionate about what they do that they're going to declare that you give the best to them, and they're gonna match that so that you guys work into the ground to create a really good product. Because those are the people you're gonna learn from, and those are the people that you know care enough about you to not let you fail completely, because they want you to succeed, because your success matches their success, matches the world's success. Find people who know what they're talking about and have the resume to prove it, but also make sure they're the type of people who you can show up in their office crying and being like, I don't know how to fix this, and they're like, here's what we're gonna do. Because you will reach that point. We all do. So in short, orientation was long. The idea is that you get the overall idea of how the institution works so you can best approach it with the proper perspective to succeed. I think what I'm most excited about is working with people who are not afraid to challenge themselves and challenge each other. The faculty literally have laid the groundwork for us to break. The goal is for us to encounter every situation that we possibly could in the real world, and then some. When you have that many people for that long of time, together for that long, creating things that are that important to them, there will be tears. Not only are we going to learn how to do our jobs incredibly well technically, but we're also going to learn how to get through any type of emotional environment, which is oddly fascinating to me. That might be the director and writer in me coming out, since my job is to kind of make emotions happen. It's obviously not going to feel great in the moment. I'm not going to enjoy feeling completely vulnerable and broken in front of people that I barely know, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how we adjust with that. How do we create in conjunction with those feelings? How do we work through it and move forward? Because there really isn't another option except for quitting. And just know. I start class, well, today actually, and I've calculated that I have about 42 hours in class and workshops this week alone. And I have that for about 6 weeks, and then we go into production mode where we start making our first round of projects. And we all direct our project and we all cycle through each crew position to work on each other's. My first class of my grad school film school career is acting. It's gonna be exciting and hilarious. I think it was really smart of them to include a acting class right off the bat. First of all, because as going into directors, it gives us kind of a language to approach actors with. It gives us a really good perspective on how to treat them and how to approach set in general. But also it destroys any awkward barriers we may have between each other as fellow classmates, because let's be honest, we're not all gonna be like Oscar-winning actors. In fact, probably most of the performances will be laughable, to say the least. But we're all going to do it together, and that's bonding, right? I think that's what that's called. Or torture, one of the two. You're creating honesty and vulnerability in imaginary circumstances before you need to create it in real circumstances. And there's something to be said for that. Because the reality is, the 24 of us are going to spend the next 2 years together almost exclusively under the most intense situations the faculty can manage. It's gonna be fun.